Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about heart disease. You know, we often think about heart disease occurring later in life as we get older. Well, I just heard a story from a client of mine who told me how two women in his life in their 40s both had heart attacks. And both of them had no plaque or buildup of fibrin in their heart. One had a blood vessel that had collapsed. And when we hear about a blood vessel collapsing where we need to put a stent in, we really have to look at how this is acidity, meaning the lymphatic system, which must remove waste, is not cleaning inside that blood vessel. And really, when the lymph system can't clean, then our own dead cells, because every part of our body is replicating, right? So the heart vessels, the blood vessels, everything must change every day. New cells are coming in, old cells are there to be taken away. Well, when those old cells can't be taken away, then they create inflammation in our blood vessels, in any organ, and in our heart. So when we get inflammation, it can create acidity. And that acidity is what really constricts the blood vessels or your heart, giving you a heart attack. And these women have no idea really that it was acidity, and most people don't. We hear about plaque, how plaque can give us a heart attack and create devastation and damage our heart. But it really is about, at least most of it, is about acidity building in our body. And I'd like to explain that. During the recession, we all had stress. At the end of the recession, I decided to do a really good cleanup. And I may have been a little too aggressive. And by about my third day of detoxing, I started noticing pain in my leg and a little bit of swelling. I went to a chiropractic adjustment. I drained my lymphatic system. I took some extra supplements, took an Epsom salt bath, and the next day, the pain was in my back. Now, again, I did some exercise that day, drained myself, took some supplements, and the next day when I woke up, my heart was really screaming. I could not breathe. My chest was tight. My wife couldn't even hug me to see, she thought I was having a heart attack. And, to me, it was acidity. But if I didn't understand that it was acidity and I went to work and had coffee and maybe toast and bread and some meat, adding more acid, and then maybe get some stress, I could have had a heart attack. But to me, because I wrote a book on how acid in our body is creating most of our diseases by stopping our lymphatic system, I understood why my heart was squeezing and why it was in such pain. Actually, I went to the Veterans Association, to the VA, a few weeks later, and they put me on nitroglycerin. So it shows you when our heart is tight, and any little stress during those few months would make my heart squeeze, and I would say, oh, stop, I can't. Well, it took me months of taking Natural Calm, a very simple magnesium supplement that you can find in any health food store across the nation. And the first few times I took this Natural Calm at a higher dose, I actually felt my heart burn. And again, having written a book on acid-alkaline balance, I understood that. Meaning my heart had become overly acidic, that waste that was moving through my body, that was bothering my knee, then my back the next day had gotten trapped in my heart. Well, again, it took months of taking this Natural Calm, and the first time it actually made it burn. And that burning is the interaction of acid and alkaline. And that only happened 2 or 3 times where I felt, oh, wow, I could feel that, the magnesium going into my heart. But then over the next few weeks, I didn't feel that anymore. And also I didn't feel stress, or I didn't feel my heart tighten every time I had stress. So it's so important that if you've had a heart attack, or what we call a heart attack, and you don't have plaque buildup, you really have to see how this is acidity. Now again, many studies have shown that 50% of people who have heart attacks don't have plaque buildup. So again, it's acidity that's constricting our blood vessels and again, devastating our heart by not giving it oxygen and the things that it needs. So there are certain things you could do. Number one, we have to understand how diet is so important. Yeah, and it's not about being perfect. We don't want you to be perfect for the rest of your life and not enjoy the things you want. But you have to understand that everything that you eat has an effect on your pH in your body. And that's the acid or alkaline level. Whether you're eating things that are more alkaline or more acid. Fruits and vegetables, alkaline nuts, again, make us more alkaline. When we eat proteins, wheat, flour, coffee, tea, soda, beer, wine, those things make us acidic inside. So at first, if you've just had a heart attack, then you need to be pretty good on your diet, right? We need to eat more fruits and vegetables, maybe some juicing, limit the coffees, limit wheat, limit red meat. And you'll see over a few days, it really is that quick, that you'll start to feel better. And hydration is the biggest thing. If our body is dehydrated, then our blood is becoming more concentrated with toxins. So water is really a way to dilute the toxins in our body. So think about it. If you've had heart problems, are you drinking enough water? And you may need between ½ ounce to 3/4 ounce per body weight. And if you're taking many medications, then you need to take more water in. Now, often people are put on a blood thinner once they have a heart attack. And again, this is great. We want to thin that blood because, again, thickening may have also contributed to why it couldn't get into the heart. But once we are on a blood thinner, this really does not remove dead cell material. It really just thins our blood. So then cellular waste is still building in our body and contribute to, again, having another problem later. So we want to be able to make the heart more relaxed, and that's where we get the natural calm. I would also look into a systemic enzyme. If you don't understand systemic enzymes, they really are just natural. You get them in pill form, and they go in and break down waste in our body. They also make thousands of chemical reactions in your body work much better. So again, if you have any heart problems, please learn about systemic enzymes. Often you hear about pancreatin, but there are many of them on the market. So it really is about personal responsibility, that if we've had this problem, we can't just take medication. We have to also think about how we do using our diet, eating more fruits and vegetables can make a big difference. Also, when you are stopping your regime of blood thinners, which should be your goal and your doctor's goal. We don't want to be on a blood thinner the rest of our life when drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables, and managing our stress can make us do a lot better. Again, that's our goal, to slowly wean off the medication with your doctor. At that time is when you want to look into systemic enzymes, because systemic enzymes will also thin your blood, but it does it by removing waste that is building up in the blood. And that is a much better way of doing it than with a blood thinner. So again, personal responsibility is what it comes down to. You've had a problem. If you don't want it to happen again, you have to put certain steps into action. If you are having problems understanding the lymphatic system or acid-alkaline balance and how it relates to your heart disease, you can contact me at the Ossipinsky healthacademy.com, and I'll gladly answer any of your questions. Thank you.